Hello guys and welcome to Painting Panzers. My name is Christian and today I'm going to be taking you through how I paint African skin tones. Now obviously Africa is a mammoth continent and there are different types of skin tones within that continent. I'm going to be focusing on two. I'm going to be giving you a sort of a medium skin tone and we're going to go with a darker skin tone. So stay with me if you're interested in this kind of thing, or if you just want to check out some fantastic figures from Eureka Miniatures and part of their Bush Wars series. Yeah, you will not be disappointed with these figures. But yeah, stay with me and let me know at the end how you found it. Now, if you'd like to grab any of the figures that we're about to show, you can find them at Eureka Miniatures under the 28mm section. If you scroll across to Modern, go to African Wars, you'll be able to find them in there. And these are specific to the Bush Wars range, but they can obviously be used for any African insurgents for any sort of time period really in the modern era. And they are absolutely lovely sculpts by Eureka. So to start off with, I'm going to be going ahead and giving this guy a coat of German camo medium brown. So we're going with sort of like a mid-range sort of African skin tone. So it's not too dark, but it's not going to be super light either. And I absolutely love this figure. The Bush Wars range from Eureka is probably one of my favorite 28mm ranges, especially for this era, the modern era. The level of detail on these figures is sensational and they make for some amazing figures. Now, whilst that skin colour paint on his arms and his face, I'm going to be painting his hair in black. Obviously, you could maybe go with a grey if you'd like to, but I think black just makes it stand out a little bit more. Now we can go ahead and give that skin a wash of Nor oil and Lafayette medium at a 1:1 ratio, and just making sure that we're using a older brush with still a nice pointy tip on it and getting in all those recesses, so in the eye sockets and around the nose. Once that's done, we now need to focus on highlighting or focusing on parts of the flesh. So we're using German camo medium brown. We're not highlighting as such, but pretty much painting the whole face again, but I'm leaving the original base color that's been washed in the recesses. So around the nose, in the eye sockets, in the lips, around the lips. So you can see that I've focused putting on paint along the top of the eyebrows there, on each cheek, on the nose and the two nostrils, and then going around the chin here, putting a little bit on his ear, on each ear. And I'm connecting it all together in terms of the cheeks and the chin. I'm not going to connect the nose to the cheek, obviously. And then I'm focusing on the neck. So you've got his Adam's apple there, and then just focusing around where the sort of neckline meets the t-shirt. Just picking out all the details that need to be picked out. I'm just going to be building up to that brighter colour. Now with his arms, you can see there's some muscles there. I'm going to paint the whole of the forehand there. I'm going to paint the muscles, but leave a little bit of that dark base colour to separate the two muscles in between there. Now I'm picking out the fingers as well. Just getting around there, maybe going to put a little bit extra on the elbow, but again making sure that I'm showing the two different muscles there. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and give it a coat of German camo medium brown and beige brown. So this is my second layer now. So we've done one layer, now I'm moving on to the second. So now this is where I'll start picking out where the eyebrows would be. In this case, I gave a little bit on each eyelid, and then I've painted the nose and then the two corners of the nose, the cheek, a little bit of the jawline, each jawline, the chin, but I'm not connecting the cheek to the chin now. This is where we start breaking it up and doing a little lighter patches. So we're focusing on areas that are going to be brighter. So obviously underneath the eyelids and that sort of cheek area, the chin, the nose, around the back of the neck there. And then with the arm, you can see that I'm focused on that muscle that's really standing out. I'm focusing on the hand there, just giving it lots of detail, scratching it in, taking my time. I've got a really pointy brush, it's a size 0 brush, focusing on those fingers. There we go, just giving each finger a little line. And then I'm finally finishing up with a highlight, and this is a beige brown. So put a tiny little line on the nose, tiny little line where each eyebrow would be. Sorry, my thumb's probably getting in the way there, so it's a little bit harder to see. I do apologise, I just can't work with one of those paint holders. Now I'm painting a little bit on the cheek there, and on the jawline, on each lip there, and you can see straight away this face has now really come into its own. Those details are popping, they look really good. We haven't gone too crazy, we're not trying to make it look too unrealistic. These sculpts have already got all the detail you need in them as well. So yeah, looking very, very good. But they might also look a little bit too bright. We can fix that up in a moment. But whilst all that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and give his hairline just a little go of black grey. And that's just to break up the black. So we can leave the black in all those recesses and we just give that black grey. So we're making him look a little bit older. Maybe he's got a little bit of a few greys growing in his hair. He's been around for a while. And then he looks something like this. And I think he's come out absolutely great. I think he looks awesome and very scary. You won't want to come up against this guy. Now we're going to move on. We're going to paint a darker skin tone. So we're going to be using German camo black brown, or camo black brown I should say, it's not German, camo black brown from Vallejo. And I'm going to be painting his face and his arms in this case in that colour. And then as we did before, I'm going to be painting his hair in black. You see he's got a cap on as well, so it makes this painting his hair relatively straightforward. He's got a bloody RPG in the way, which is quite big and annoying. Now I've washed it with no oil and left me a medium, technical medium, but now I'm using camo black brown again once that's dry, and I'm going to be repeating the exact same process as what we did before. I think I got a bit too much water on the tip of my brush here, so I've just got to fix that one up. But you can see that camo black brown is a really dark brown, so we're gonna have to line it up ever so slightly, but we are trying to go for a much darker skin tone to represent the different skin tones are obviously in the region, with different countries being closer to the equator and such. So camo black brown and burnt umber are 1-to-1 ratio is what we're going to be going for. So we are going to be lightening the skin tone up quite well. It's also going to give it a bit of a purple hue to it, which might not sound right, but I think it actually looks really good for that really dark skin tone. And we're just following the same process. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we've already covered it in quite a bit of detail with the previous version of this skin tone. So yeah. So just like we did before, we're going with our last highlight, which is burnt umber. And this is where I'm just picking out like just underneath the eye sockets and the cheek, a little bit of the jawline, lips, nose, eyebrows, a little bit on his exposed bit of his neck or chest area. You can see that. Then the fingertips, a little bit of the hand, a little bit of the muscles on the arm, but not too much. I'm being quite light here. Now, I mentioned before that you could also darken the skin tone a little bit more, and we can do that easily by just going over the no oil and Lafmia medium or technical medium again at that 1-to-1 ratio, and you just go over a very old brush but a pointy brush and just get it in all those recesses just to darken up if you feel like the skin tone might just be a little bit too light for what you're trying to achieve. So you could do that with both of these skin tones that we've just looked at. So here's the end result for this particular guy. Again, another scary looking dude with an RPG. Yeah, very, very cool. Absolutely love these sculpts, and they look badass. So there we go. That is how I paint my African skin tones. There's two different variations of the skin tone. Obviously, there is so many different variations of skin tones that we can paint, especially like for any type of skin tone. We can do lighter as well, which I haven't covered in this one. But this just gives you an idea. You can pretty much work with a lot of different paints for this, and you can get a pretty desirable result out of it as well. So massive thank you goes out to Eureka Miniatures for sending me these figures. I absolutely love this Bush War range. I had a massive load of fun painting the Rhodesians that we've already covered on the channel, so if you want to check those out, please do. I might go into a bit more of a better look at the camos schemes for the Insurgents, but yeah, let me know in the comment section if that's what you want to see. I must also say a big thank you to my Patreons and YouTube channel members, specifically those Panzer races. So that's Patrick, Oscar, Panzer Jim, Colin, James, Mikey, Mike, Lack of Foresight Gaming, and Eric. You guys are absolute champions. Thank you so much for being those aces. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it here. Don't forget to leave me a comment below, and I will catch you at the next one.